Hello everyone, this is today's video analysis for September 4, 2019. Today we're taking a look at the NZDUSD, the New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar for today's trade analysis. Now I'm starting all the way out here on the weekly time frame so we get an overall perspective of this currency pair, noting that we are at an all-time low. I mean, we have not seen this low for many years. We're looking all the way back to January 2017 in this viewpoint, and you can see we're at the lowest low we've been since January 2017. Let's zoom out one more time. And you can see the lows all the way back here into January 2016 and into 2015 was the last time we saw the New Zealand dollar down into these price levels. So it's a significant historic low that we are achieving here on the New Zealand dollar. Now that we've seen that history, let's go back to the daily time frame, begin zooming it in on this trend. Of course, over the past several weeks, we've made that downtrend into these historic lows. We'll actually go back in the live trade room later today, probably, and take a look at these lows, the green, yellow, and pink shaded area at the very bottom of the chart. We'll take a look at those back in 2015 and 16 and see what the market did back then, but it's significant. We're at significant support lows. So what I'm saying is it's a difficult place, in my opinion, to be selling or going short on the New Zealand dollar. The question is, how much longer can it persist with this downtrend before having some correction or pullback? And I think we may be starting to see signs or evidence of some correction or pullback in the most recent price action just this week. Of course, the black trend, the long down black trend line showing the downtrend. Today, we see the market pushing back above that trend line. That's our first clue that maybe we're starting to see a little bit of a change in the price action. We haven't seen any significant upward movement in the past several weeks. So we may be starting to see a little bit of a change in the price action. I want to point one other area out that I think is interesting when we're talking about this, and that's up here. Let me make this one blue so it's different. So the blue trend line, where we see the market was pushing down similarly to the black trend line, and eventually we see right here, this is what I want to look at right here. We see that similar scenario where we see finally we see a little bit of an uptick, sat down on top of the yellow zone, made a pretty decent correction retracement, came back down, challenged the pink zone, and then made a new high. So we take that information, breaking above the blue trend line, sitting on support, and then going up, and then we take another circle and we put it down here and we say, hey, isn't this very similar down here where we see the market breaking the black trend line and pressuring higher? So that's why we're talking about potential reversal, potential trend change, significant support lows, because we see, and this is what we do as technical traders. As traders that study charts and price action on the charts, we look at historical information, whether you're using an indicator like stochastic, MACD, Bollinger Bands, common indicators, pivot points. We look at historical price action around those types of indicators or even support, resistance, and trend lines and say, hey, if that happens again in the future, let's look for a similar scenario. So we see the past, the blue trend line, black circle. We see the current market, black trend line, black circle. And we say, if this happens again, it may provide us an opportunity to get in at the very beginning stages of what could be reversal. So if we're going to do that, we need to formulate a plan, take it down to the 4-hour time frame. So our plan, as we were discussing yesterday in the trade room, was first to see it get above the black trend line. And that's what it's done. It's got above the black trend line, and we've seen it moving higher over the past 24 hours or so. That was the first hurdle to get through. Let me see if I can squeeze this black circle in a bit. So we're down here in this area down here. So our first hurdle to get through was getting through the black trend line. We did that. That's good news. Now what we want to see it do is sit down on top of that green zone as support. That's kind of our next goal, is for it to sit down on top of that green zone, find support here to give us lower risk and higher reward, and then bounce and go back up. That's similar to what happened at that previous time back at the other point of reversal that we just talked about on the daily time frame. So that's what we want to see. We want to see it use this green zone as support. Our risk, our stop loss, will be under the green zone. That way, if it breaks down under the green zone, we minimize the risk. If it returns to the long-term downtrend, we minimize the risk to our trading account if it turns around and goes back down. So our goal and hope is that we'll see this stay above the green zone, the black trend line, continue to pressure higher on reversal. The risk is it breaks back down under the green zone and moves back down in the long-term downtrend for the New Zealand dollar this week.
From Forex Traders Daily, this has been your daily analysis with Ross Mullins. If you would like to get Ross's analysis on all the currency pairs he's watching and all the trades he takes today, join him in his live trade room by clicking on the link below. Please leave any comments you have about today's video in the comments section below.